Well, as for thing 3, what do I mean by this? Most people in rich countries are paid more than they should be. Well, we have been told by free market economists that people are paid what they are worth, so we should not complain about pay differentials and income inequality. Because if someone's paid 95 million pounds a year, he must be worth it. Otherwise, the market wouldn't tolerate. Now, leave that end aside for the moment. This has also made us think that, well, all those poor people in poor countries, they must be poor because they are not very productive. They are not worth very much. But as I do in the book, take the case of 2 bus drivers. I named them Ram, an Indian guy from Rajasthan, driving bus in New Delhi, and another guy is called Sven. He is a Swedish guy driving bus in Stockholm. Sven gets paid about 50 times what Ram does. But is it because Sven is a driver who drives 50 times better? Well, I'm not sure whether it is physically possible that someone drives 50 times better than someone else, unless you are comparing the Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher with me. But actually, when you think about it, if anything, Ram will be the better driver. And this picture will show you why. Every minute of his driving, he has to dodge the cow, dodge the rickshaw, dodge the children, dodge the bicycle stacked 3 meters high with the crates. He has to be very good. Whereas Sven, he can, except for a few drunken drivers on Saturday night, he can basically do his job as far as he can drive straight because he drives in a city like this. So how come a guy who's actually a much better driver gets paid 1/50, 2% of another guy who is essentially doing the same job with less skill? How is this possible? Well, this is possible only because of, let me put it bluntly, that protectionism, that is immigration control. And if you actually totally freed immigration, 80, maybe even 90% of the workforce in the rich countries can be and will be displaced. And I'm not just talking about bus drivers and cleaners. There are millions of bankers, engineers, and medical doctors waiting out there in China, Nigeria, and Brazil that can replace their counterparts in the United States, Japan, and Britain. Why not? Well, after all, I replaced a British economist. Now, I'm not advocating a full liberalization of immigration. Even as an immigrant, I know that that is not possible or desirable. But if they are to be consistent, free market economists should actually advocate it. But very few free market economists even see that. I mean, T.N. Srinivasan is probably the only exception. Vince Cable once said something half like that, but I mean, other free market economists are not even aware that what they are saying about free trade and that the free movement of people are contradictory. Once again, the fact that very few free market economists that actually do this proves my earlier point that markets are fundamentally political constructs. There's nothing in economics which says that British immigration per year should be 50,000 or 100,000. No, it's not determined by economics. Now, the flip side of this story is that poor countries are poor not because of the poor people, but because of the rich people of those countries. When you meet rich people from poor countries, they'll tell you, if you would listen, how their countries are dragged down by all those useless people who are lazy, ignorant, and unenterprising. Yeah? But actually what they don't realize is that their countries are poor because of themselves, not because of their poor people, because most poor people in poor countries can hold their own against the rich country counterparts. Actually, many of them are more skilled, like our RAM. Yeah? But the rich in poor countries cannot actually do that. Huh? So it is that if I put it that way, their failure to pull the rest of the country up, rather than their poor pulling the rest of the country down, that is making poor countries poor. Okay, so that now leaves the rich in the rich countries. Can they pat themselves on the back and tell us that, well, we truly deserve what we earn? Well, I don't think so. Because what these people don't often realize is that their high productivity critically depends on the fact that they were born into, or at least migrated to, societies with advanced technologies, well-organized firms, good institutions, and high-quality physical infrastructure. And most of these are things that have been collectively accumulated over time and not something those individuals have created themselves. Yeah? Warren Buffett, the famous American investor, financial investor, once put it beautifully in an interview. He said, look, I'm rich only because I happen to have been born in the United States. Yeah? Drop me in the middle of Bangladesh. Yeah? I'll be a struggling farmer. I'm not very good at farming. Yeah? So I'll be rubbish. Yeah? So all of this back and forth stuff about poor people in rich countries, poor people in poor countries, rich people in poor countries and rich people in rich countries show the fundamentally collective nature of individual productivity, without recognizing which we can build a truly fair system of compensation. Yeah? So we should be able and willing to challenge these bankers when they say, well, market paid me $85 million, so you shut up. No, you should point to him that, look, I mean, the reason why you are getting this money is because we have a certain kind of economic system, certain kind of financial system with certain kind of regulation and deregulation, and that you haven't actually created all the wealth that you think you have created. I mean, just to give you an example, I mean, that in the United States, the profit rate of the financial firms doubled or almost trebled over the last 25 years. Is it because they really became that much more productive? No, it's because of deregulation. When Hank Paulson abolished leverage regulation on financial firms, he basically gave them free money. Because now they could have a debt equity ratio about 5,000%. Whereas previously it was, I think, capped at something like 1,200 or something like that. Anyway, the details are not that important at this stage.